Okay, so we are back. Well, I am back with a deck profile and Store Showdown tournament recap. It's gonna be a pretty quick one. I want to talk about the deck that I took to my Store Showdown. I took Anakin Yellow, as you can see on the screen there, and let's talk about the matches. We had 5 rounds, Swiss. We won top. Well, sorry, 5 rounds, top four. That was a top four. We all prized up and everything. It's win a box tournament. I got third place. It was actually one of the better events that I went to. Like I said, I got third and I lost two, so I won 3-2. And I want to talk about some of the matches that I had. Wins and losses. So we're gonna start out. I'm gonna go in order actually. So my first round was against Maul. I think I 2-0'd him. It was pretty unfavorable for him. He opened up pretty poorly. He couldn't get a good unit, and everything that he drew was like high cost to units. So I kind of steamrolled it there. Kind of unfortunate. And also when he had good cards in hand, I just sparked it or forced threw it away. It was disgusting, honestly. The second match I had was a somewhat of a mirror. It was my Anakin Yellow versus Anakin Blue, and I'm still trying to figure out what I think is better. Like, I think Anakin Blue is slightly better than Anakin Yellow, and I think because Blue has access to, fails for four, takedowns, paralysis, position, make an opening, all these really, really good, strong restoring cards. Because and also they have access to some really good fortunates though. Like for example, Blue has access to Yoda. They have access to Kanan Jarrus. These cards are super impactful. Kanan can heal, Yoda can heal. So technically speaking, right, you could use Anakin, right, and you could swing with a Yoda, and he's swinging for. I think Yoda's a two. I think he swings for two in restore. So he's swinging with Anakin's buff, right? But then he heals, thus negating the self harm on your base. So it's pretty dope. Um, yeah, that was in like I said, Blue has some of the best fortune. They have Luke Skywalker as well. I mean, Red has what Mace Windu. That's fine, I guess. Um, but yeah, some of the really good cards are in there, and I think we were really close. I think I got the first game, and then I think he took the second game. But I know I took the third game. The third game, what I did was I threw everything out that I had in space because I realized that his sentinels were when he beat me in the second round it's because like he had too many sentinels in the ground arena. So I made sure to go space and just go. So I kept my red three alive as long as I could. I kept pushing damage early on. So and also I kept I got lucky. I got a Cassian on every turn. So I'm like either I play it or resourced it. So super helpful. And then when I got to like a few resources, I swung with Cassian, and then I smuggled in a Cassian, readied him, and gave him a gun, and then I shot with it. It's really good. When Anakin swings, mostly when Anakin swings, people will worry. They want to use Rivals Falls on him as soon as possible. But the thing about Blue is one thing I said constantly before people, and this may sound kind of dumb, but I feel like Blue just taps out super hard. Like they have their six drop is like Obi-Wan, and then that's it. That's their turn right there. Um, I generally like cards that do something when they're played. Like obviously, like L3 gets a shield, Falcon comes in readied, Plo Koon can ambush, Kira stuns a card, stuns a hand, whatever. So that's pretty good. R2 can help me filter. But a lot of blue is very defensive. So if you get your early aggro and you hurt their board, and then in conjunction with yellow hurting their hand, you can win it. Honestly, it's super good if you know how to play it. It's Now I'm not gonna tell you that I'm an expert because I'm not, but I like to think that I played this deck so many times that I feel the most comfortable with this deck, and most likely I'm taking this to the planetary qualifiers next month. The third match I played against was against Eric. I think his name's Eric, and he played Boss Blue, and so I'm like right there, control. I'm like, oh man, I can't do this. I will tell you at the end of the day, I am a mid range player, and I just could not like. I mean, it was 2-1 in his favor. The first was it the first game? The first game I got, I think, yeah, the first game I got, and I think what I did was like, I kept slamming units on the board as soon as possible. I kept swinging and swinging and swinging. and he just had obviously Boss Blue plays almost like no units. They just wait until their top end, their Snokes, their Palps, their their Avengers. So you want to slam these guys down as quick as possible before they can heal. You know, even the client. If you can kill the client, kill him as soon as possible. Get any threat off the board and get that client from healing, because if you every damage matters in that matchup. I don't care what anybody says, right? You'd be surprised how there are times that I play against like Boss Blue and I'm like, he's at like 26, right? I'm like, oh man, I can win this next action. He claims, and then it turns life turns around. He goes Avenger, he blasts your board. You know, he gets a bounce and then he pulls up. It's like it happens so fast that you got to be able to like take advantage of the situation as soon as you can. Now, once again, not a pro on the matchup. Controls really hard for me. Um, I just think that I need to be a little. I gotta play the control matchup more. I gotta get out of my head about it because I did play him in the third round and I had maybe like 15 life. He had like I think 20 life or something like that. But he kept healing and I'm like, dude, I'm bored. Take the round, man. I can't do this anymore because I knew that I had nothing to come back with. He's gonna keep healing. He's at 10 resources though. Avengers coming down. Avenger will eventually kill me. I can't heal in this deck. And that's one thing that I think that Blue has the advantage of this because Blue can heal. So all the damage that Anakin's doing out there with his cards, right? I don't ever get back. So if I was playing Blue or Green, then yeah, I will get it back. You know, Green if I'm playing Sundari or playing the one drop Bounty Hunter, the clone guy that restores one. But yeah, I mean like I'm not healing at all in his deck. You know, that's one thing that Yellow just does not do. So and also Red because Red's all aggro. So I lost that, and then the next match I had was I don't remember. It was against Quinlan, Quinlan Yellow. So it was pretty nice to play against another. Literally was a force red yellow mirror to a degree. Quinlan comes a little faster, but like that, I managed to. One thing that I will say that this Quinlan player did something a little different, right? Usually, people who play against these Tarkentown decks, they play a card and they go boom, and then they kill it. They zap it instantly, right? Sometimes, right, I'm actually okay with that because I don't care if R2 dies. Doesn't matter to me. I got other cards to play. Um, I would try. Once again, I don't play Tarkentown, but if I did, I might save it for like a Poe or a Plo Koon or Sabine. Because Sabine can't be attacked. If she's like rested, so you can zap her down and everything too. I just think that people get into that mindset. They kind of autopilot, like, oh, I got to zap it now. Boom, it's gone. So but then they like, you got me for a turn, but then if I can stun your hand, oh that too as well, right? If I open up right and I play Spark and I take away your two, so Quinlan has to play on curve to ping down damage. So basically, if he was to go first, he plays his card down. Then I go, then there's no ping happening, and then I start like removing his threats from the board with my cards. So I think that Quinlan's probably a little more difficult to navigate than like let's say Cat Bane or Django because you can like, get the events pretty free and do that. But I won 2-0 on that one. Those games were super close and they were really good though too. I think at one point he had the 6 cost Falcon he ambushed in, but then I played my Falcon and then at the Anakin skill that I killed it. Then I read the Anakin and then I had like then I used Anakin. Then I used Anakin to swing with the Hot Shot Blaster, which is MVP. It's my favorite. It's my favorite upgrade in the game. For me, upgrades are generally bad because you gotta waste a turn to attach it. So you see the Hot Shot Blaster, and kind of like a buddy of mine at the store says, right? I see it, I know what the resource. You ain't gotta think about it. Like for me, I'm like, oh, I got Cassian. Resourcing Cassian. Hot Shot Blaster, I'm resourcing. L3, I'm resourcing. So in my deck I have 9 good targets to resource. So I like that a lot. Mostly Hot Shot Blaster, I like the resource every time. So I won 2 on that one. And then the last match was against Cad Bane, Tarkentown, so yellow, red, Tarkentown. And I got demolished. There's nothing even to speak about. I played he's probably like a training partner, but we play all the time, and that deck is so hard. Like, and going against CAD, the Cad Bane unit is really tough because he comes down, he's a 7, and he swings a 7 with 7 defense, and he steals units up to 8 HP. And every card in my deck, right? So he will steal Resolute, which sucks because Resolute's like my finisher, it's like my top end card. So he would just come in and steal it. I could have the advantage, right? He goes, "Oh, I play Cad," and that's it. And then if he swings right, sure, I get my card back, right? But he's going to draw 2 cards, which is even worse. So I definitely found that to be, and I think that match next to Control, like those 2 matches there, are super hard for me to deal with right now. And maybe I'm playing it wrong. Um, I just don't know how to really like. Here's how I beat Cad, right? If Cad opens up, if Cad opens up like kind of poorly, I could probably win. But that's kind of poorly because once again, he could come down and he could ping because all his cards are underworld, right? Unlike Quinlan, who's to be on curve with the level, he just pings it. So he's pinging when he's ready. He pings every time. So he's like hurting your cards every single time. That's why I think L3 is actually the MVP against Cad, and this is why because when you play L3, you can play her, and if you have a card that's captured, you can save it. So it doesn't happen a lot though, but it's kind of cool, when it does happen. So that's it for the and also the guy who beat me got the winner box. He won. So congrats to him. I helped get him the winner box because I like lost. So it's all out boxes. Anyway, I'm not salty about it. It was a good time. Um, so what did I change? Right. So I didn't have this exact deck actually when I went there. I did not have Change of Heart in the main deck, and also didn't have the similar thing fighters either. I realized that in this meta, we are in kind of an upgrade ish meta with Sabine's running rampant, with the Dark Saber again, and we got all these guys out there with the hot shot blasters. We have all the bounties being thrown out here, and I was thinking about adding in the Wolfpack escort in my main deck, but I realized that the similar thing fighter just comes in and zaps the upgrade. Doesn't matter what it is. So it could be a bounty, it could be a shield, it could be a token, it could be anything. So these things are super important to like get rid of though too. So that's why he's in the main board now. What I did also added into the sideboard. I have one in the sideboard as well. One change of heart, and I have one main board just for that, steal your big threat, steal your Crate Dragon, steal your Avenger, kind of deal. I still love Fellow Dragon in the sideboard. It's one of the best cards to use. You just play for 6, obviously off aspect. You kill whatever. It's totally fine. Um, I main boarded again Kira at 2. I don't want to see too much. I mean, I want to see her enough, but not all the time because you use her once throughout the whole game, and then you won't see her again. Sabine Wren, who I was kind of iffy on, has become one of my most favorite 4-drop cards in this set. When you look at the deck, so the skill won't always work. I mean, it's probably like a nice balance between red and yellow cards in here. But when Sabine works, it works. So for example, if I have Anakin, right, I use Sabine. I use Anakin's skill. Sabine's swinging for 6, right? That could take out most leaders, not all, but most leaders, right? Have like 6 HP, right? Um, but in the off chance that Sabine hits a red card, that unit takes 2 more damage on the ground. So she's technically right. She'd be hitting for 8. That's fantastic, right? Doesn't happen a whole lot. It happens sometimes, but when it does happen, it feels pretty nice. I put back in the sideboard Crate Dragon and also added Ewing Reinforcement. I realized that in the control games, when I'm getting my cards blown up to bits with, Power Dark Side, Wizard Blast, right? I gotta be able to refill my board to deal with the Avengers, right? So sure, I'll play it for 9, but I get my cards back. So I get my red threes, my L3s, a Cassian, an Interceptor, all that kind of stuff right there. So I think I actually need this. I think if I'm playing the control games, it'll be super helpful. Also, pillages. I used to be kind of on the fence with pillager, but after playing a lot of these control matchups though, and I noticed that they don't have a board most times either. So if I'm having a card on board and they're obviously they're resourcing, they're playing like all these things, right? So say if I just play against like a mirror, right, Anakin mirror, or like that. If you damage their hand, that's almost as good as like damaging their board, right? Take away threats that they have to have though, and play is really impactful because you're making them choose to get rid of something that they're gonna probably like two. Ditching one card is fine, I think though, but the ditching two is impactful. Yeah, we do draw two cards each turn, but in the instance right there, if you discard those two cards, what can they do? Say if they resource and then they got three cards in hand, and then you pillage them, then they have one play most times anyway too. And then you got a pretty strong board. You use Anakin, so you could probably kill whatever they put down on the board. And like I said, just I don't know what else I would change with that all. I don't think anything needs to be changed, honestly. Um, it's it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. Maybe I might drop an R2 down to two, and maybe throw in like another Disabling Fang Fighter. Just all depends on how the meta is, though. Maybe I might do that, or maybe I might put in like one of the Centurio Corvette because that's a 5 drop. But I don't want to overload my deck with 5 drops either. Maybe I might throw in like another like maybe I might throw in like I don't know. I don't know what's even let's put in here at all. Maybe a mace, maybe one mace, I guess, just to clear it up. But yeah, other than that, that is the deck. Obviously, let me know if you have any suggestions or any other ideas that you may think would be helpful. I'm always down to talk about the deck ideas, also deck theories. I'm not one to say no to any kind of advice. I'm open to hear it. But thanks for your time and catch you next one.